back to the channel. In today's video we are looking and opening a Vevor distiller. I've been asking one for Santa for quite a while, and finally this year I was blessed with a lovely gift. So I thought I was gonna do a video, open it up, and we'll have a look what it looks like inside. I've done quite a bit of research on those distillers, and apparently there's a few complaints in terms of the things being not particularly simple and sometimes not even complete. So I was a little bit dubious, however it needed to be done. Just for all of you who's wondering, guys, the distillers, we're not allowed to distill alcohol in the UK without any license. Apparently you can easily get the license, but then you have to then pay per amount that you brew. Anyway, this is not the reason I wanted this, because as you know, for me as a prepper, I want to be able to do and supply my own medicinal things. So I will be using that to firstly still the water in emergency, or secondly I will be making some herbal hydrosols. So without further ado, guys, let's have a look, see what it's like inside. I have opened the box for obvious reasons, so I don't have to mess around with this on the camera. So here we go. I've gone for a 12 litre because, again, there is a bigger one, but they're far too big, and well, don't want it too big. Not for the herbs anyway. So let's get this out of the box. Here we are. There are surprisingly very little stills available. Again, you can get some that are plug-in kind of jobbies that to still the water and things like that. However, I found, again, for the off-grid situation and just going forward, I thought it was really important to be able to still something on your gas barbecue or on a fire or on any hob without relying on electricity if the SHGF situation happens. So, it's quite compact. Okay, and the bottom, get the bag out. And there we are, look. Okay, so far so good. You got the Vevor branding on top. Okay, I like this, right? Because I know some American pressure cookers have that nicely little clips like this, and I like that. Let's get them open up. Okay, so lid, okay, with a hole. We have a booklet, the manual. Okay, and I can see why people were unhappy in terms of the quality of instructions. The picture, my toddler can take a better photo. They're very dark, you can't actually make up pretty much what's in there. Anyway, right, we've got some silicone pipe. That's a bit kinked, but that's okay. Padding, and then we have our condensing pot. Okay, condenser pot, and that's that. So let me put this aside. So we have little bits and bobs. We've got pressure gauge. We have some copper piping. I've decided to go for copper because it's a better. I've heard it's just a better way to use it to still. So we've got some nuts. We've got the airlock, because originally, if you, depends what you're doing, but you can use this as a brewing bucket, fermenting bucket for anything you want, which is kind of good in a way. 2-in-1. And then we have some more bits and bobs. Okay, and some nuts and some tape. We have some more copper piping, and then we have a bit that goes, the core that goes inside the condenser, to which the steam will be running in and then cool down and coming out from the hose. So also far so good, right? It's kind of looks very straightforward. Well, it doesn't actually, to be fair. I'm lying. It does not look straightforward. I had no idea what I'd be looking. But anyway, that's the bits and bobs. So good job. I'm going to have a helping hand. So, right, looking through that, guys, right? There is, unfortunately, there is just that, which is just a graph, okay, and you can roughly work out where things go. However, it's not particularly clear where to use your nuts and bolts, and why do you have a small amount of copper pipes and those bits. So good job, I'll have a helping hand for somebody to help me work out doing this. So yeah, it's nothing here. It's nothing there. Apart from, there's some recipes there to do a fermentation guide, how to ferment your, whatever you're fermenting, if you choose to ferment stuff. But literally, guys, that's that, okay? Which is pretty rubbish. So I can see why people are really, really getting upset. So as we can see, we have a selection here. Unfortunately, another thing that is not clearly was mentioned in the listing, guys, it doesn't come with a pump, okay? So, and we do need a pump. So the idea, guys, that we have two outlets here and our condenser, and we have to connect the pipes to the top. So we have the water in and water out, and the idea is you have this into a bucket on the floor or next to on the counter, and then you have really cold water with addition of ice to make sure that you still works correctly and fast enough. However, they have not supplied you a pump, which is rather irritating. The whole set, I think it was like £78. You can buy a little pump for about a tenner, so it's not a big deal. However, I thought it would have been quite handy for them either to tell you so people are aware that you actually do need to have a pump, and or actually include one in a pack. That would be even better. So guys, without further ado, okay, as you can see, the bits and bobs are here. And as I said, that for somebody who's just doing this as a first time, first hand, I have never really handled or had a distiller before, it is tad what confusing to potentially what to do with all these pieces. So let me get somebody help me out and we'll show you how we assemble that. So guys, everything is lined up and we do have our sheet instructions here that actually make pretty much no sense and are very much useless. However, as you can see, everything is at the front of us, okay? For the assembly, guys, you require the 22mm, 19mm and a 17mm spanner. According to the instructions that do say that all the rubber gaskets or rubber seals that are going on the lid have to be going on the top of the lid, not on the inside. However, that looks like there's enough to do both. That's what we'll probably be doing. And a first step is just to start assembling the lid. So let's assemble the lid. but a half an hour later, we are pretty much finished. I must say, guys, it might look like a really simple thing, but it is not. The images that supply, the things that they tell you to vaguely to do in terms of the rubber seals, just don't match up, because the image of certain things like a thermometer is a totally different fitment. So when I say to put the rubber gasket on the top, it's not possible because of the shape of the nut underneath it and the size of the thing supplied. So it's kind of a bit of a hash up on their behalf, unfortunately. However, it looks like so this is what we have. And this is the issue I'm saying to you. On the pictures, if you had seen the still, the pot was in the center, in the middle. There's no way the pot will fit in the middle. And even at the moment, guys, standing there on the edge, it's just on the edge of a lid. Although it's got the foot that is there, the foot is actually not touching the lid, which is a bit odd. I totally appreciate once you put the water, there will be a little bit more weight to it. However, I don't think there's going to be that much of a weight to kind of support it. And that's where I think the idea is, guys, if you just turn this one out, totally out on the side, reposition this and fix in the position facing this way, you just have to put something on your worktop and rest the pot. I think it's probably a little bit safer. Secondly, the issue we had as well is that the copper pipe in the middle, it's kind of shaped in a circle. However, the way the pipe comes up and the way it fits in here, you have to reshape the copper pipe to make sure that it kind of fits in the both outlets and at the same time 90% submerged into the pot, which is again something that I feel you should not be doing. So what is left in here, guys, it is kind of easy, right, when you know how. So there we are. So we have here is the two outlets, which is the the hose is going here. So you've got the water in and the water out. Okay, here we have left is a bit of a copper pipe and the silicone hose, which will go into our end, the distilling end. This is where the herby wonderful liquid's going to be coming out. So the idea is that you just extend that out, okay, if you wanted to. This is I don't really see the point, but anyway, it goes basically like that. So yeah, there you have it. Okay, and what's left is our little airlock and the little rubber gasket again for the airlock. So the whole idea that you can use that pot, as I mentioned, to actually brew your initial liquid of a kind. And yeah, you basically, the idea is you unscrew the thermometer and you can put that in there instead, or you can unscrew that. I think the holes are the same, so whatever you kind of choose to do, it is there if you want it. Obviously, because I'm going to be doing my herbal stuff, I don't think I'll be using that for to do that, because that's kind of unnecessary. And then we have a couple spare rubber seals. As I mentioned, we put the seals where possible, but there are spares. I totally understand that also the manual and the bits potentially supplied are to do with the bigger pots, because the design of the lids are slightly different, because I do a bigger size. At the same time, they also have multiple pot stillers as well, so you can have two of the pots sitting on the top. So, but there it is, guys. This is kind of what it is. Taking the whole malarkey aside of actually assembling, it kind of feels like it's a pretty solid kit. You know, it's not too bad. It looks nice, kind of. It just looks like it's well made, if that makes sense. So there we are. What I'm gonna do, guys, because we did like basic video of how to assemble this, I'm gonna do a step-by-step type thing and take some pictures, zoomed in pictures, and I put them in the end of the video for all of you who are struggling to assemble this and kind of put this in your head to how to actually put it together. That you'll have a videos, pictures in the end to help you do this. As I said, it kind of looks self-explanatory, but then when you start looking at the images, when the things don't line up or don't add up, the shapes and the sizes to what it tells you in the book, it kind of a little bit trial and error. But because we're trial and error, my aim is for you guys to make it as simple as possible, so nobody will have to go through half an hour twatting around with the pot and trying to make sure things and where they go and how they fit. So there we have it. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna start talking. As I said, the which I haven't included my pipes in here, but yes, your silicone pipes go at the bottom, 2 pipes in here. So they'll go in a pot of water. You say 1 water in, 1 water out, and obviously that will be cooling down your condenser here on the top. So make sure that the water's continuously rotated. So I'll have to get a pump. I actually do have one I used for the pond a little while back. It's only a basic one, but that should be sufficient to be able to run that for us anyway. So I hope you guys, you enjoy this video, if you can enjoy this kind of video. But let's say I hope you found this helpful, and I hope that you, if you'll purchase one of those to distill your water and the herbal things, then you'll find this useful and helpful to get you assembling this quicker and without any mistakes. So on this note, guys, I'll say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.